I pledge my heart to the rainbow.
You know, we're told we're not supposed to use the term groomer, but I'd love for you to provide the word that best describes what you're about to see here. Chesten Buttigieg. That's the partner, husband, I guess, since we're redefining terms, of Pete Buttigieg, Mayor Pete, Secretary Pete. Video has surfaced of him doing what can only be described as a grooming behavior with young boys who profess to have same-sex attraction. And it's actually a little bit more disturbing than I'm describing it. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. I want to first, though, turn to what Lady Gaga did in the same vein on International Women's Day. On International Women's Day, Lady Gaga decided to pay tribute to all women out there alongside a man who pretends to be a woman. Here's the video they put out.
I promise you, if you put your mind to it and you work hard and you never give up and you do not listen to the rejection, you can achieve anything that life throws your way.
What do Lady Gaga and Dylan Mulvaney have in common? Well, obviously, neither of them are natural blondes. And depending on what conspiracy theory website you look at, both of them have male anatomy. That's actually a thing. There's this whole weird sort of urban legend that Lady Gaga actually has a little Jamie Lee Curtis situation going on there, which is also an urban legend, and I don't believe either one of them. But there's Lady Gaga deciding that on International Women's Day, the tribute needs to be made with a man, and not just a man who pretends to be a woman, but a man, Dylan Mulvaney, who presents as not merely a woman, but as the stereotype worst kind of caricature of a woman, like a minstrel show, right? The woman character that Dylan Mulvaney presents to the world is a ridiculous buffoon who doesn't resemble an actual woman at all. And there's Lady Gaga celebrating her womanhood with a man who could never actually threaten her legitimate womanhood. There they are on Instagram. Lady Gaga got a lot of criticism from women about this. Because Dylan Mulvaney, say what you will about Bud Light's stupid mistake that they made, a horrific thing that they still haven't apologized for. So I still haven't gone back to Bud Light. I know others have. I know President Trump said, well, they suffered enough. They got the message. No, they didn't. They still haven't apologized. All they need to do is apologize. They still refuse to apologize. In fact, the company line from Bud Light is, yes, they made a mistake, they say, which is not the same as an apology. But they also, wrote it off to Neanderthal, conservative, intolerant Southerners, people who drink Bud Light, who refuse to expand their minds. And we just weren't ready for the Dylan Mulvaney endorsement. Yeah. They don't apologize. They say they made a mistake, but the mistake was, having more faith in you and your tolerance. That's their mistake that they made. All right. So, but Dylan Mulvaney, by getting that endorsement, this is the problem with Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney gets endorsements and gets jobs and gets money and gets gigs at the expense of women, not just parodying women and doing this minstrel show, pretend dress up as a woman, and which ends up demeaning women, by the way, and making them look stupid and ridiculous. But it's an endorsement and a job and money that normally I think the company probably would have given to a woman, an actual woman, a legitimate woman, born as a woman. But instead, that money, that endorsement, that gig goes to a man. Because the best woman you can get to endorse your skincare product or your makeup is certainly going to be a man pretending to be a woman. So says the corporate executive C-suite right now when they look at the intersectional DEI ladder of achievement. So people were ticked off at Lady Gaga, and here's how she responded. Oh, it's a doozy. It's not surprising, given the immense work that it's obvious we still have to do as a society to make room for transgender lives to be cherished and upheld by all of us. I feel very protective in this moment, not only of Dylan, but of the trans community who continues to lead the way with their endless grace and inspiration in the face of constant degradation, intolerance, physical, verbal, and mental violence. Of course, we don't want any violence perpetuated on anyone, but can we just unpack that statement for a moment? What the hell is verbal violence? What in God's name is emotional violence? Mental violence? Mental violence? Learn how to use words properly. I don't expect much more from people who have no idea what a man is and what a woman is. But verbal and mental violence? Also, grace and inspiration in the face of constant degradation. I'm sorry, Dylan Mulvaney and the drag queen culture, they voluntarily degrade themselves. Look at the clothes they wear. Look at their behavior. Look at how they act. Look how they reduce themselves down to a deviant sexual act. There's nothing more degrading than that. You want to be respected for who you are, then present a very real life human being, not a cartoon caricature of your own mind's imagination of what a woman is to you in your own degraded mentality. Lady Gaga is I'm sorry. You don't get the right to grandstand like this and lecture the rest of us by using this sanctimonious shaming language because we're calling a spade a spade. I hope all women will come together to honor us all for International Women's Day. And may we do that always until the day that all women are celebrated equally, that all people are celebrated equally, a day where people of all gender identities are celebrated on whichever holiday speaks to them, because people of all gender identities and races deserve peace and dignity. So we should celebrate Rachel Dolezal during Black History Month. And if you dare to object, you're the problem, you intolerant pig. I want Lady Gaga to step forward and say that. We need to celebrate people who identify as Black on Black History Month. Why not? Based on the standard and values that you have just laid out there, Gaga. I really have nothing more on this other than the outrage that I feel on behalf of women, actual women, who now have to endure the wrath of Lady Gaga, who think that you are an intolerant, sexist, misogynist bigot if you don't stand up and applaud a man who is usurping International Women's Day by being the iconic representation of real womanhood, according to Lady Gaga. Which brings us to Chastain Buttigieg. As I mentioned, this video is now surfaced. He was a teacher before he became the husband of the Secretary of Transportation. And this is a video of him doing some sort of summer camp with children, little boys, as you can see, who have same-sex attraction. In some cases, these boys are not even into puberty. They don't even know what sexual attraction is, let alone have experienced sexual attraction. And this summer camp caters to these little boys who have same-sex attraction or profess to have same-sex attraction, which is bad enough. You know, we're told we're not supposed to use the term groomer, but I'd love for you to provide the word that best describes what you're about to see here. And one more aspect, as I just said, it's bad enough, right? But then you are going to see Pete Buttigieg's husband, Pete Buttigieg, a cabinet secretary in the United States government who has run for president and who plans to run for president in the future, mark my words. You're about to see his husband, partner, same-sex partner, leading these little boys in a pledge of allegiance to the gay pride flag.
All right. I pledge my heart To the rainbow. The not so typical gay camp. One camp. Full of pride. Indivisible. With affirmation and equal rights for all. Watch your heads.
Yeah, I mean, it's really all about love, isn't it? And all they wanted to do was to be able to have a marriage just like your marriage so that they could visit their loved ones in the hospital and get Social Security benefits. It wasn't about redefining marriage. It wasn't about tearing down the institutions and the building blocks of Western civilization. It wasn't about indoctrinating children. No, it was just love needed to win, for God's sake. What's wrong with you bigot?